Okay, let's talk about homework. I'm going to assign you page 83, and I want you to complete the page, but I will help you with some of the examples. So let's look, make sure you have your workbook, and I want you to turn to page 83. And we're going to look at each part, and I would like you to complete it on your own, but we will work on the examples together. So look at part 3 on the top of 83. Okay, part 3. And look at your book with me. I'm looking, and number 1 says, Martina is worried about or of paying her bills. So we're going to have to decide which is the best word. There's going to be 2 words, and we're going to circle the best word. Martina is worried of paying her bills or about paying her bills. So when you are worried, this was a phrase that we talked about last week. What are you worried about, right? Martina is worried about paying her bills. Okay, so let's do 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think you can do it. If you have problems, check in with me. Okay, check in with me. Okay, look at number 4, part 4, where it says complete the sentences. And we have some phrases here. About finding a job, about getting a scholarship, for driving me to work, in learning about computers, of getting up early, of losing their jobs. So these are just phrases, but we're going to need to add them. We're going to need to place them in the correct sentences. Okay, so look at number 1. I'm worried about finding a job, right? That one is the only one that seems to be the one that works with worried. Why can't it be of losing their jobs? I'm worried about, or I'm worried of losing their jobs. Why can't it be that? Well, I'll tell you, there means a few people, right? More than one person. And the subject of this sentence is I'm, right? So I'm worried about finding a job. So make sure the subject and the object match. Okay, so that's part 4. Look at part 5. Part 5 is a chart. Okay, this is a chart. There's information in the chart. Right? You're going to make a sentence using the information. Okay, so number 1, Ron. We look at Ron. We look at his name. The first column are the names. The second column are the feelings. And the third column is the activity. Okay, so let's look. It says Ron, excited, go to college. So now that's not a sentence, right? Those are parts of a sentence. We're going to make that a sentence. So Ron, and now we need a verb. Ron is excited, right? And then we need a preposition. What is he excited about? Ron is excited about, and then we need the gerund, right? Going. Ron is excited about going where? To college, right? Ron is excited about going to college. You're going to do the same thing for each name. Look at number 3 and 4. Those are 2 names. So we think of it like they, right? So we don't use the verb is, we use the verb are when there are 2 or more people, right? So number 3, Vincent and Anna are, right? So you remember that. One person is, 2 or more people are. Okay, I think you'll do great with this. We'll review it next time. see if there are any questions. Okay. All right, so I would like us to also, for homework, talk, right? Let's talk on WhatsApp. These are some topic discussion questions, okay? You don't have to tell me all of the answers, but pick a few to discuss with me on WhatsApp. So the first question is, how many credit cards do you have? Okay, this is good to know, right? How many do we have, right? How many credit card accounts? Maybe you don't even have the card in your wallet, but maybe you have these accounts open, right? So how many credit cards do you have, and what interest rate do you pay? This is really important for you to know. I remember when I first started getting applications for credit cards. I think I was like 18 years old. I started getting them in the mail, and I didn't even have enough money to have multiple credit cards. But many credit card companies started sending me these applications, and the interest rates were very, very high. And it says, free, just free credit cards. But we know they're not free. You do have to pay, and you have to sometimes pay a lot of interest. Some of them compete, so you can actually get a lower interest rate, and you could even request and ask for a lower interest rate. Many people don't know that, but we want to always have, if we do have credit cards, the lowest interest rate possible, because that means the less money you have to keep adding on to your credit card bill. So let's discuss that. That's a good question. Let's discuss that on WhatsApp. Just let me know and check it out. Check to see. You can see on your bill every month, it will tell you the percentage rate. Okay. All right, number 2. What things do you usually use a credit card to pay for? So most of the things that we buy online, especially now, I feel like people are buying more things online because we really can't go too many places. But what do you usually use a credit card to pay for? Is it big items like a television or a computer? Is it your groceries, clothes? What do you usually use a credit card to pay for? Or maybe you don't use one at all. You can let me know in just a few sentences on WhatsApp. Okay, number 3, I'm interested in what you did back home in your native country. So are credit cards popular in your native country? I would think for some people, yes, and for some people, no, right? So let me know wherever you're from, right? Burma or Ethiopia, Eritrea, wherever you're from, Afghanistan, let us know, are credit cards popular? And you can say, credit cards, yes, credit cards are popular in Afghanistan, or no, credit cards are not popular in my country. But let us know your country. Let us know if they're popular, if many people use them. The US, they are very popular, maybe too popular. Okay, and number 4, this is an opinion question, right? The ones before were just facts. Just tell me what's happening, right? Tell me the truth. This one, number 4, is more of your opinion. Some people will say, yes, it's harmful, right? Credit cards are harmful. Some people will say credit cards are very helpful, right? So the question is, do you think credit cards are helpful or harmful, and why? So this is your opinion, and we don't have to agree or disagree. This is your opinion. So you can say, I think credit cards are helpful because, right? Whenever we have the word why, we want to explain, right? So it's asking you to explain. I think credit cards are helpful because, right? Or I think credit cards are harmful because, or maybe a combination of both, and you can tell why. Okay. And then the last question, do you think a family budget is important? Okay. Why or why not? So setting up a family budget. Do you think this is important? Why or why not? Okay, I want you to pick maybe a few of these, maybe 2 or 3 to talk about. Okay, and you can talk about this with your husbands, you can talk about this with your families, your sisters, your friends, your cousins, but also let me hear what you have to say about this. It's very good. A lot of people don't like talking about money. They want to avoid the topic, but I think it's really important for us, especially if we are wanting to save money. I think it's really important to talk about it and know what we're spending, how we're spending. Could we be spending less? So let's talk about this on WhatsApp. Okay. You want to jot down maybe two questions or 3. You're welcome to do that in your notebooks, and then you can respond. Okay, let's get back. So you don't have this. This is from the student book, but we're going to look at something new. We're going to look at a picture, and we're going to talk about it. And later on, we'll be doing some writing. Okay, so let's look at this picture. It says, talk with a partner. You're going to talk with me. Okay, so let's get back there. Okay, look at the picture. What is the problem and what do you suggest? Suggest. Remember that. You could, right? Or why don't you? So when we're making suggestions, we're going to use the word could or why don't you or why doesn't she or she could, right? So it seems like there's a group here. Looks like maybe they're at work, right? And you have to think who, what, where, when, why, how. Can we answer these questions? So who? Well, I think she is at work, right? And she is looking, it looks like she's looking on her computer. Maybe she's looking online. And I don't know if you can see in the picture, but she is looking, it says women's suits. Women's suits. And it looks like she is not wearing a suit. Looks like she's just wearing a top, a blouse, maybe a skirt. And it looks like everybody standing is wearing a suit, right? So a suit is usually a jacket and a skirt or pants. You see the man who's wearing a jacket and a tie. She is looking at pictures of women's suits. So women's suits are usually a jacket, a blouse, a skirt, or some pants. Okay. She doesn't look very happy, right? She doesn't look very happy. She also is holding her budget. I don't know if you can read that word, but she's holding a paper with her budget. So I guess she has a budget that she has made for herself. What she can afford to spend on things. How much money she has placed for certain items like food and different expenses and clothing. Okay, so what's the problem? That's a good question. What is the problem in this picture? Do you see a problem? I'm thinking the problem might be that maybe she can't afford a suit for work. Maybe she feels like she needs to wear a suit to be more appropriate at work, right? Every workplace is different, right? Depending on your workplace, some places are casual. Some places you do need to dress more like office wear, right? Office attire is a word that we could use. The type of clothing that you wear in an office, in a building, in a school. If you are working on a farm, right, you need different type of clothing, right? Or working in a garden, you need different kind of clothing. If you're working in a restaurant, sometimes you have a uniform. If you're working in a hospital, there's a uniform, right? So there's different attire for different work spaces, but this looks like an office space. So the problem, I'm thinking, is that she doesn't have enough money to afford a suit for her office, right? For her office work. So what do you suggest? What could she do? What are the options when buying clothes? I feel like there's so many options when buying clothes, finding clothes for less expensive. Are there ways to buy suits for less expensive? Maybe that could fit her budget. So what do you suggest? I would suggest maybe she look at some consignment stores. These are stores where people sell their clothing, right? They're used clothing and they get a little percentage of it. So it's a little bit less money for anyone who comes in, any customers to come in. And sometimes you can find really nice clothes at consignment stores. Sometimes thrift shops. Thrift shops are also used shops where people bring in items to sell, and these items have been used. Some of them are in good condition, some of them not so good condition, so you have to look through. I know we have a store in not too far from Clarkston called Second Chance or Last Chance thrift store. And I know some of the students have bought things there. Sometimes just looking online for sales, right? Looking online so you can find nice things online. And then go into the shop if you like. Not too much shopping happening now, but many opportunities for online shopping. Okay, so we have a problem. We have some suggestions, right? Some used clothes, maybe borrow clothes from friends, maybe buy clothes, used clothes from friends or the people in the community. There are many options and suggestions you can give. Okay, so let's look at the next part. This is a letter that we're going to read. And I don't know if you know this, but this is called an advice column. Okay, so you can actually write to the newspaper and ask for advice. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. And it says, read the letter from a newspaper advice column. And this is the man who gives advice. He's called the money man. Okay. Dear money man, I recently got a new job in a downtown office. I need to look nice every day. I've never worked in an office before, and I don't have the right clothes. Most of the women wear suits to work. How can I get a new wardrobe without spending my entire salary? Can you give me advice? Not clothes crazy. Okay, so we want to know, what is this woman's problem? This is the same woman from the picture here, right? This is her story, right? She's asking for advice. Right? What do you suggest? Okay, so are there any words that maybe we don't know here? We know the word recently, right? This is like, recently could be in the last month, last few weeks, not too long ago, right? Recently. So she recently got a new job, right? She's in a downtown office. I need to look nice every day. Okay. I've never worked in an office before and I don't have the right clothes. So she's not prepared for this job as far as clothing goes. Okay, it says most of the women wear suits to work. How can I get a new wardrobe? Now this word's important, wardrobe. This is like what's in your closet, right? Your wardrobe is all of the clothes that you have. right? So how can she get a new wardrobe without spending her entire salary? This is all the money that she's making. She needs a whole new wardrobe, right? If she's working there, maybe she's working 5 days a week, right? She's asking for advice. So let's see if we can form our own sentences and maybe write these down in your notebook, right? What is the woman's problem? And what do you suggest? Take a few minutes, write it down. Let's see what we come up with.